Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLA video. And as I get older on screen every day with my white ass beard, this game keeps rolling and it keeps coming out with new content. We got a lot to look forward to, guys, but with the current content that's coming out, I'm going to cover that very soon. Everything that's coming out, and there's a lot coming out, guys. We have very, very good content coming our way. And honestly, I have to say, I'm back to being impressed with the way the devs are handling the game. It's really cool. The one thing I think I will say before I continue on with the video is I kind of wish they brought out more content more frequently. I know that's a lot to ask for. I don't mind the characters coming out once a month. That's cool. It's all good. I just kind of wish we had more content releases. But quite honestly, there's a lot going on right now. And to be honest, some of you guys are even saying this is becoming kind of, burdensome with the amount of content here in the weeks to come, right? So, I mean, if we took a look at it, there's a lot going on, but that's not what the video is about. I'll talk about that in a different video. Right now, what I want to talk about is something more important, and that's something that's going to help you guys, hopefully, throughout getting the best possible scores in every piece of content or completing the content based on Sung Jinwoo's best stats, artifacts, and what you want to do to make him the best possible Sung Jinwoo in this game for you. And we're going to break it down in a couple different formats. All right. So I want to say a big shout out to Ryan, my big man, Holy Hell, aka Viking, aka Kiss My Ass, Ryan. I hate you, but I love you at the same time. My man's put some time together for me. I asked him, you know what, Ryan? He's actually my go-to guy for Guild Boss and some other things too. So I was asking, hey, what do you guys focus on stat wise? So he gave me a little bit of a breakdown. So we're gonna walk you guys through every single boss that is in Guild Boss. I'm gonna give you guys some POD advice as well too. I'm not the greatest POD player, but I know stats wise how it works. And of course, WOBL from a free-to-play perspective to a pay-to-win perspective. I'm gonna give you guys everything you need to know. Before we do that though, go hit that like button, subscribe, hit those notifications, guys. We got a lot more SLA content coming your way. Plus, of course, more live streams with horror games, Kaiju number 8, you name it. We do it all, baby. And also, guys, don't forget to join the Discord. Come join us, get your roll. Get SLA roll, get everything else roll. We do everything on Discord. We freaking have movie nights every weekend too. So shout out to everybody who's been joining that. Now, let's talk a little bit about this. Sung Jinwoo. So let's talk about, first off, I'm going to do Guild Boss stats and what you want to focus on. So we're going to break this down into two separate ways. We're going to talk about the 3 different bosses and what your stats want to look like for each different boss. All right, so we're going to start off with what's currently going on, and that is the giant statue and what you want to do when you're running specific teams. Now, I'm not going to focus on the teams yet. Well, I'm going to make a separate video on each team, each meta team. We're going to talk about the same thing, the stats, everything else you want to go along with that team and how to make them optimal. But right now, the focus is going to be on Sung Jinwoo. So first off, giant statue. If you are going to be fighting the giant statue with fire, and it's a fire week, here's what you want to do. We'll start off with the artifacts, guys. This is going to be straightforward here. You actually want to run a full arm set. All right, just keep that in mind. Full arm set for giant statue. Arm, the reason why arm, guys, you may be wondering, Payne, why the hell are you using armed? Well, if you don't know how the giant statue works, right now the giant statue is focusing all on defense pen. So everything here related to him is going to be all about this set, the Black Lion set, only because you can see right down here, when attacking the user ignores 18% of the target's defense. It's all about defense pen. We'll talk more about the stats afterwards, guys, but you want to go arm set for the left side. On the right side, you want to run expert with as much defense pen as possible. Now you might be asking yourself, Payne, what do I want to run for stats? All right, so for the stats here, guys, if you're running a DPS build, you want to go 220 intellect, and you want to run the rest in strength. Okay, your precision should be roughly about 18.7k. You guys can see I'm at 22, 18.7, put you roughly around the 90% mark, which is more than enough. Your crit rate, you want to have roughly around 8 to 10k, so this is perfect, exactly where it needs to be. Crit damage, you want to only go 190 to 200%. Crit damage is not going to make as much of a difference here. What really matters here is, you guys can see how low it is going to be defense penetration, especially when you're running a DPS build, and you want roughly about 41k. Right here, that number right here, baby. 41k defense pen. All right, so this is important right here. Damage increase, it's not irrelevant, it still matters, it just doesn't matter anywhere near as much as defense penetration. So guys, you absolutely want to get this to 41k and above if you can. I mean, above you might be hitting a little bit less because obviously the way diminishing returns work, but for this boss, 41k is the magic number for defense pen, guys. 41k. Remember that. All right, so in terms of blessing stones, because this is an important part, obviously, when you're running a DPS build, you want to do Reawakening, which you guys see right here. You want to do Boss Slayer, which you see right there. You want to do Sharp Perception, which you see right here. And you actually want to run into it. That's right, not into it, but run into it. You know what I mean, right? Yeah, so run this right here. And the reason why you see 220 is because it's mythical. If you were going to be running only legendary, you'd go down to 200. All right, so keep that in mind. This is only going to be with mythical numbers. Lower that a bit when you are seeing the legendary version. So this version right here, you want to go down to 200. So that's the important version going towards the giant statue. Now, some of y'all can't run DPS. Understandable. Don't worry about it. So what you want to do different here is you want to go greed instead. AP's greed, guys. And the reason why you run greed is most of your support skills, the ones that actually matter, are going to end up being your main break skills. And every time you run a break skill, of course, with greed set, you're enhancing the critical hit rate and the critical hit damage of all of your units, including yourself. Yourself don't matter, but the units absolutely do, right? So that's why you want to do that. Now, everything here, this is how you run, okay? If using Stormbringer, you want to do 300 strength. All right, 300 strength, so you get the bonus in the Windbreaker's main skill, and then you want to run everything else in intelligence. Pretty straightforward. If you're using no Stormbringer and you're only using, let's say, Grimoire and the Moon Shadow daggers, everything goes in intelligence. You just completely max out intelligence, guys, and you spam the crap out of those skills. Okay, so that one remains the same. Now, when you do support build, you do not care about defense pen. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You're not doing damage. Don't worry about it. But you do want to run a couple different blessing stones. You want to do Reawakening. You want to do Sharp Perception. You want to do Bloodlust. That's right, Bloodlust, and We Are One. The reason why you don't run Bloodlust in the 41k defense, the defense pen build in your DPS is because you have so much defense pen that Bloodlust is almost doing nothing in terms of actually affecting the boss's defense. You're already gone above and beyond the boss's actual defensive pen. I guess at this point you've pretty much maxed out the amount of damage you can do through minus defense, so it becomes irrelevant. But when you're running a greed set, you absolutely want to push Bloodlust up there. Okay, so that is going to be the stats for the giant statue, both from a DPS perspective and from a support perspective. All right, weapon wise, of course, we've already talked about this. I won't cover weapons today. That'll be a whole different thing, and I've already covered it, but you can go check out that video. All right, next up, Fakna. Stupid ass dragon. That's right, same ass build. Nothing changes here. It runs the exact same way, guys. Literally, giant statue, Fakna. Beautiful thing here is you don't have to switch gear when they're in the same order. All right, so hopefully next up is Fakna for you guys. That way you can just keep everything the same way and you're good to go. All right, does not change. Now for the Ant Queen, unfortunately it does change quite a bit. All right, so for the Ant Queen, you want to run a couple different artifacts. So you want to run 2 Curse and 2 Infamy, just like this. And of course you want to run yourself your expert set. All right, expert, not obsidian, expert. Just remember that, guys. Longer fights equals expert for the most part. Okay, all right, now in terms of this, defense pen actually doesn't matter at all. Literally does not matter. So you want the same level of crit rate, you want the same level of crit damage, but your damage increase is purely focused on. So instead of having yourself 41k points in defense pen, you actually want to swap that in and throw as much as you can into damage increase. The boss has literally almost no defense, and all you're doing is you're going through and destroying it. So that's very, very important to remember, guys. So keep that in the back of your mind. The Ant Queen is all damage increase, and you just pump it out as much as you possibly can, not neglecting, of course, your attack, not neglecting your precision, which should be exactly the same, 18.7, and then, of course, crit rate 8k to 10k, and a crit damage 190% to 200%. So very important, guys, to remember those. So that takes care of all of Guild Boss. So again, shout out to Ryan for putting those together for me from a numbers perspective. It's always nice to see that, and I wanted to update you guys because many of these stats videos are a little bit older now, and this one will help you guys understand what you want to focus on the proper stats. All right, so there you guys go. Thank you again. We will do a hunter one later on in a different day. Now for POD hard mode, it's going to be different, right? POD hard mode, for the most part, you want to run very similar precision. All right, you want to run definitely more strength in this case. If you're running into it, then you can run a little bit of 220 if you like, but the best current setup for any form of DPS is going to be Curse and Infamy 2 and 2, expert set, or obsidian, depending on how good your sets are. You may want to go one or the other. And if it's a greed and you're going to go for support, then you want to run Ape's greed. That does not change at all, guys, in regards to how you run it. Now, for the support, the greed version of it, it's exactly the same, guys, as you would run the guild boss ones. For blessings, all the blessings remain the same, nothing changes. Even the skills remain the same for the most part, but that depends on the elemental week, right? So that's gonna be a little bit tougher. Now for DPS version of this, you want to go Curse, Infamy, Expert, as mentioned, or Curse, Infamy, Obsidian, and then of course you run the weapons that are according to the element that's available. Remember, hard mode, 2 weapons only per turn, they get eliminated. You got to use 2 other weapons, so that's a big deal as well. For this one here, you want to run a good equal amount of defense spent and damage increase. I try to run 25 and 25 or 30 and 30 if possible, and then of course for crit damage I run roughly about 200%, and then for crit rate though I actually go higher. I go roughly about 15 to 16k, going a little bit over, about 4 to 5k over. Now I'm not sure if that's required, it's just been the safe thing for me to do. And in regards to stats, I only run 175 intellect on POD, and the rest goes right into strength to push as much as content as I can there. Now WOBL, same scenario as POD. You don't run support whatsoever, right? You're only supporting yourself in this case, so it's going to be pure DPS build. And in regards to blessing stones, guys, for the previous POD, it's exactly the same. If you're running greed, which is support, you do Reawakening, Sharp Perception, Bloodlust, We Are One. If you're doing DPS, you go Reawakening, Sharp Perception, Bloodlust, and Boss Slayer. All right, those are the main ones there. That's going to help you the most. Now, WOBL, a little different. Again, you run 2 Infamy, 2 Curse, 4 Expert, or 4 Obsidian. Exact same setup as before. I do the exact same thing as I've mentioned to you guys before. Right here, you see on the screen, 175 intellect. All the rest of it goes into strength. And then, of course, for the actual blessing stones, I go Reawakening, Sharp Perception, Boss Slayer, and I go with Bloodlust. Those are the main ones for me. And then in terms of skills, I run Vacuum Wave for the most part, just to get that extra break in, especially because I'm running Storebringer. And I try to do like either Wind Shroud if possible with the staff in order to do the most amount of damage. All right, because that one does it. Now, if you have the newest skill for light, which is going to be the light kick here. 1 second, let me see if I can find it right here. If you have the light kick, that actually is a great move to use right before using the staff, because it actually does incredible amounts of damage, because it increases the light damage you do by 10%. So it adds a little bit more oomph to the damage you're already doing. So there you guys go. That is the full on stats, artifacts, and blessing stones you want to use for every piece of content. All right, guys, remember to like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful night. Take care of yourselves. Happy Sunday. Peace out.